Hello, friends. Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast. Still coming at you live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but here at the Omni Hotel with the Empower Conference 2026. And I was walking through the vendor hall yesterday, doing my swag run, and our next guest basically said, "You can't have swag unless I'm on your podcast." So we made that happen. So Mike DePalma, let's see, you're a vice president of business development at OpenText's.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming down. Thanks for demanding. So let's start with the swag.
Yeah.
That big old
straw hat
thing. Who came up with that?
Our marketing team comes up with some great stuff, and it's a hot item. So originally it was like, we'll make it like a bigger deal, like whatever. And I was like, no, let's get as many of those out there because it's free advertising. Where'd you get that hat? Go check out.
Well, I thought it was going to be one of those. No, you got to sign up for the demo.
That was the original thought, and I'm like, no, we got to get as many of these out as we can.
That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
If somebody just books a demo because you gave them a hat, they're not really interested. Like I'm not a big believer in like, I'll give you this if you book a demo, because you want people to book a demo because they want to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing, so my office has already talked about the back scratcher.
I came up with that idea.
You did? Okay.
And everybody laughed at me, Marv. Everybody was like, who's going to take a back scratcher? I said, I'm telling you right now, people spin that wheel, they're going to want a back scratcher. And people, they love it. I got one in my car. I got one in my desk. Like everybody needs a back scratcher. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah. So already the hat and the back scratcher puts you guys in the early lead for best swag, because that back scratcher. So first of all, it's longer than all of the others.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little sturdier.
Yep.
And will last.
Yeah.
So boom.
Yep.
Right off the bat.
Extends. Yeah. It's got a nice like padding handle. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to get them. Let's get a good one.
All right.
So
sweet. Okay. So let me talk about, so we talked earlier, right before we got on here. So this is your first Empower event with Enable.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love it. Yeah. So I'm going on my 12th year in the channel. I thought I'd been at every event. And I heard really good things about it, but I will tell you the quality of conversations here and the quality of, MSPs here, it's honestly one of the better events I've been to in a while. So we're going to double down on it next year. It's been fantastic for us.
Yeah. Now, when you talk to people, both around and at the booth and stuff, what I found is at least this year, there seems to be a lot more mature MSPs at the event. Are you seeing that as well?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I mean, these are larger MSPs, growing MSPs that want to come and have business conversations. You know what I mean? Swag is good and people come by, but that first night, it's 3 hours of booth time, which usually you're just looking at your phone, like, when is this going to end? I looked down at my phone, it was 9:00 and I felt, I had no idea we'd been there that long, because it was just a steady flow, and they weren't the 30-second conversations. It's spread out enough where you could sit and talk to somebody for 2 minutes and get into it. It's been great.
All right. 9:00. That was party time. Did you make the bus ride over?
I made the bus ride. I don't know if you were on the bus, but the bus got stuck behind a train stopped on the tracks. So this guy backed down the road and then went down the wrong way on a one-way street to get us there. We all cheered his name. Felipe is a hero. He's a hero of the channel right now.
Nice. Nope, I did not make the bus. I live here.
Yeah.
So, I had seen the brewery.
Yeah.
And I was done. It was a long day.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. Brand new hotel here.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking about this with some of the business leaders. We've been waiting for it to open earlier this year. This is my first time in the building. What do you think of the building?
The building's beautiful. Yeah. If you got some time to go have a drink or have lunch up on the 10th floor where they have the pool and everything. We took some partners up there yesterday. It's been awesome. I mean, the vendor, it's very spacious. So when you're, sometimes you go to these vendor halls and you're right on top of each other, or they're serving the food in the middle of the aisles and you can't. This is very spacious. We had plenty of room. The rooms are beautiful. The views are unbelievable.
Of course.
We had the cruise ships right there. I sent a picture to my kids and I was like, that's probably a mistake because now they're going to want me to take them on a cruise. I don't know what I was thinking with that, but no, I think this is great. I didn't realize it was that new.
Yeah, very new. We've been waiting for it. And I told everybody, it's of course connected to the conference center, the convention center. So it makes it really nice. Still a little pricey, but it'll come down.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
come down. Okay. So let's go back in OpenText. If I remember correctly, it has now been 1 full year.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a year in March I started, so a little over a year. Yeah.
All right. So how are things now as opposed to when we talked last, when it was just a few months?
Yeah. So it was interesting. It was a learning curve a little bit, but when we first talked, after I had, I think I was about a month or two in when I first met with you, at that point, it was really, we needed to rebrand. Not necessarily rebrand, but we needed to get people to understand OpenText, because people would say, I'm not an OpenText partner. And then I'd say, well, where do you get your Microsoft 365 AppRiver? I'm like, well, welcome to the family, because you are an OpenText partner. So we really simplified things when we went and did the shows. And it was very much like, here's what we do. Here's our unique value proposition. This is kind of the way we go to business, right? We have Microsoft in the middle, then our own stack of security. Yeah. And now we come to these events and, we've done a good job. Our marketing team's been great. We've been on a lot of podcasts. So now we've established, I think, in the channel, like what we do. And now it's a point of saying, all right, well, what do we do different? Why should you work with us?
Well, it's funny because some of my customers that are getting, some of them are resold, some of them are resellers. Yeah. So I remember getting some emails. They're like, wait a minute. I thought I was with AppRiver. Why am I getting this from OpenText? I'm like, let me tell you.
Yeah, right.
So it's been good. So let's see. So OpenText, let's do this. Let me think about this. So you came up through Datto, Kaseya, OpenText. OpenText was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking huge. They were much bigger than I thought they were.
25,000 employees now. Yeah.
So what has been your sense of transition going from Datto to Kaseya to OpenText? I mean, is it really that much different?
It's vastly different. Okay. And here's what I'll say. So it's, 25,000 employees with about $5.5 billion in revenue. Our division makes up about 10% of that. And they leave us alone. It's genuinely like, we hired you, you control. Really? There's no micromanagement. As long as we're on those calls and we're hitting our numbers, which we have. Our February was the best February we've had in company history for our division. Okay. March was our best. Nice. So they just trust the process, which is what I love about it. Big publicly traded company. It's not like every month's the most important month in the world where, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this quarter is the most important. So it's very steady. And when I came on, they told me, they're like, it's a 12 to 18 month plan. Us bringing you in to reestablish it. So when we were 6 months in and everything was good, like we were heroes. I'm thinking, where else can you have a 12 to 18 month runway to do anything? But it really gave this ability to have the flexibility and learn and like change decks on the fly. Like I updated, I'm presenting in about an hour. You saw me. I was just over there adding slides without somebody saying, well, is that an approved slide? Does that go into the messaging? And so it's so liberating to have that much autonomy.
Well, that's just got to be a sense of relief alone because, listen, I don't know the channel chief life, but I know that it's almost every year. It's like towards the end of the year, it's like, ooh, am I still going to be here? Are we still going to, did we do enough with the numbers? Did we get enough new partners? Did we, keep enough old partners and stuff? So that's got to be nice to know that you've got, time.
Well, it is. And,
it's like a coach in football, He got a couple of years.
It's like new coach, like the Jets every couple of years. You know what I mean? I'm a Jet fan, so I get it. Always rebuilding. But no, I mean, what's really cool is, to be honest, I've been in channel chief role for a long time, and there's always a fear come budget season where they're going to say, well, what is this? How are these guys ROI generating, right? What is the purpose? This guy goes out, he takes people out to dinner, and there's not always a one-to-one, right? Well, here's what their ROI is. And you're starting to see some other vendors start to say, hey, this is a place we can cut some money. We could just send sales reps and, we don't need that kind of presence. Right. Whereas OpenText was the exact opposite. They didn't have a channel chief. They didn't have that, and they realized it was a gap. So it's the exact opposit. when I started, I was a team of one. We just hired our 5th person on the team. So we're growing.
Okay, they've allowed me.
Yeah. So now it hurts my airline miles, but it helps my relationship with my family.
Okay. So I know over the year, everything's been kind of rolling up into the secure cloud platform and stuff.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at with that? And then also, is there other stuff that has kind of come out that we need to know about?
Yeah. So that's been the big transition too. Secure cloud was relatively new when I started. And so getting everybody into that platform, there's hurdles, but we've been able to be very nimble and make some changes, right? Because people were used to the portals. If you're a Cloud Ally partner, you had your Cloud Ally portal. Anything else, change is different, right?
Yeah.
We think it's better, but our our development team has been great. I got a call with them every week for them to say like, all right, what is the channel saying? So it's been very nimble. The other big thing that we've been doing is creating a new partner program. And so
I thought we just did that.
No, we didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
So because I'm happy about it. So we had our plan for it. We brought in Channel Mastered, Eric Simpson as a,
Eric.
So I said, and they did an analysis. They did focus groups with partners, non-partners. Okay, like what moves the needle, so that I wasn't just standing up there doing my click-through stuff. And then come December, we're like, well, we need somebody to run this partner program. And that's when we were able to get Christine Gassman, who's predates me. She created the partner program at Datto, which was award-winning. I said, I know somebody who's awesome. And so she started in January. So it was kind of like a pause, like, let's get Christine in there. So now the official release will be July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're not going to change our payout program again, are you?
No. Nothing on that side. But what's interesting, though, when you looked at like, all right, what were people looking for? And you're thinking like, whether it's discounts as you move up tiers or rebates, It was more enablement just kept coming up. Like what we need from a partner is them to try to enable us in different ways. And so that's where we were making. And first 90-day experience came up over and over. Like I want to understand and know who I'm talking to. So we made investments into that too.
Right. Well, I can tell you this. Making that cloud portal a little better was one of my things.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's more stable.
Yep.
So that's nice. I'll talk to you about this after.
Off the record.
I had a little thing I had to work out stuff. All right. So secure cloud, and I understand you guys have some new partnerships.
Yeah.
Hats AI.
Hats AI. Yeah. We just announced that last week. And it came from, again, we're thinking about enablement. And one of the things was, the channel has gotten very competitive, and those relationships with other vendors has slowly kind of not been there. And it was like that, 10, 12 years ago. So he said, all right, well, what are some strategic folks that do something we don't do, but can help our partners?
Right.
And if folks are not familiar with Hats AI, it's an AI platform designed for MSPs. So you can now manage all of the AI that your client might have. They've got 67 LLMs under it. And it keeps secure. And now an MSP can manage it, right? So we had been telling the story of MSP of the future and where people were going to generate revenue through AI. And it just aligned with them. They're month to month. We're month to month.
Right.
I've known Jimmy for a long time. So we had dinner. We said, well, what can we do for a relationship? And now you're able to buy it through our portal. So we're not becoming a marketplace, but it directs you to Hats AI. And it's part of the partner program. So what we're doing is we're passing along that relationship and going to pass some benefits to our partners that utilize AI. Utilize Hats AI. So it's been good. It's been well received. We went through it with our advisory board first to say, like, is this something that makes sense? And they're like, this is exactly what we're looking for from a partner. Like, find vendors. Don't try to sell me everything. Have a business conversation. If you know somebody that can help out, trying to get away from that smile and dial, where my deals at the end of the month type conversations that some account managers have, to be more of a true business consultant.
Yeah.
And it's been, our sales team is thrilled to be able to do it.
And now I've noticed some things changing in my portal around 365, which is, I'll be honest, still the bulk of what I use with AppRiver, even though you've got Pillar and a bunch of other stuff. So what's going on with 365 and OpenText?
Well, again, listening to partners, one of the things that was a pain point was, hey, the experience within our partner portal on the Microsoft side wasn't great. We were winning because of our relationships and our support and all that stuff. But those are the types of things I could bring back to our team, the development team, and say, hey, we don't need to go spend time on like fancy, shiny objects. Let's just make things easy. And so we're seeing that. And then we're working with Microsoft a lot more. I mean, I'm flying out to Redmond next week. We're going to be having conversations about how they could support us. So we're getting support from Microsoft more than we had in the past on the enablement side, helping people sell different things. How do you go to market for Copilot? And so, it's been strengthening. I'm on the partner advisory council out there, and this gives you, elevates us with them,
Okay. So let me ask you this. Again, we didn't prep here, folks. So I may ask you a question that he won't answer, but I'm going to ask this.
Yeah.
So back in the AppRiver days, it was fantastic for what they called phenomenal support. AppRiver was almost a direct line to 365. Everything was simple. Everything was easy. When Zix bought AppRiver, then there were the Zix products that were almost competing against the AppRiver products, blah, blah, blah. And then OpenText came in with even more products and stuff like that. So have you guys figured out a way to kind of streamline all that, make it work better together as part of this?
Yes. And that was the goal of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the goal of it. And so you used to have a different account manager if you had AppRiver, if you had Cloud Ally, and it was really, they were, like you said, competing business units.
I stopped talking to him. I'm like, I need just one.
Yeah. So now we've brought it on. Now that's on Secure Cloud, you've one account manager.
Okay.
And they have resources to go to. We also made a big investment into the support side. So we're handling 98.7% of the tickets in-house first call resolution. Like we're bringing in former Microsoft people. The other 1.3% we work with direct support. So that's been a big differentiator. So we've doubled down on that because, there's a lot of places you can go buy Microsoft. You could talk pricing and stuff like that and we can get aggressive, but it's more, I want to be a partner with somebody, and that's where the support comes in.
All right. So I'll tell my office to start accepting those calls again.
Yes. So find out who your account manager is. We've got a very experienced account management team, which again, talk about investments. Like we pay more to get people with channel experience, not the, young smiling dialers like I'm talking about. No. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. Genuinely, because everybody knows your account manager. Yep. They can have those business conversations. There's such a big portfolio that you're really just like, where's your gap right now? Instead of doing the shiny object, oh my, we just released EDR. You got to do EDR. It's like, well, where can we fit in? We've got 15 security products. We got Microsoft. Now we have these strategic relationships. So now it's more listening and responding instead of sell.
All right. So what's the conversation been like with enable partners? Again, if you're first time here. So what's it been like for them to say, well, what are you doing that we could, bring to our stack? I mean, how are those conversations going?
Yeah. I mean, so this event, the folks that are here are pretty much all in on enable, right? So we're not talking, they're using Cove. So I'm not really talking backup. We're figuring out where are the gaps and we, working with enable. I mean, we're partners with them. So it's more like, where could we fill those gaps and work with you and say, okay, what are you using for archive? What are you using? A big one was communications archive for e-discovery. So it's different than backup. And so that's where almost every conversation
different than the advanced information archive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all out there, but this is capturing everything. It's capturing Slack, capturing social media. And so for e-discovery, so we're looking at that.
Okay.
We just say, well, because if you sit there and say, well, what do you guys do? And I list off 15 products and all that, I just say, well,
what we don't do.
Yeah. That's what I say. I say, we got stuff right and left to boom. Tell me where your gap is or where or maybe frustrations with another vendor, and I'll let you know if we have it. And so, again, I think that's an easier conversation. It's different than a normal, like, here's, sign up now because we have a special on this, and trying to come to an enable event and displace them when you're talking to their biggest partners, you're spinning your wheels, You
know what? Of all the years that I've been with you guys, I don't think I've ever seen hey, here's a special this month.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever happened. Now I have had my rep, put me in a special level for a specific reason. Hey, let me help you get this deal. Let's slide you in there. But I don't think I've seen, now granted, you weren't there before. So, I mean, I don't think I've seen that.
Well, that was kind of the culture I walked into, and I agree with it. Like, I was never a big fan of like show specials and things like that. Right. And that's why we're month to month, and people are like, well, I did get a discount if I sign a contract. I'm like, no, this is the price. Even when we were
I love that. The price is the price.
The price is the price because it levels the playing field, because we talk about having no minimums. So when I had the conversation with Channel Master, they were talking about, hey, you should have different levels. And I'm like, different levels of pricing that are published, it becomes a minimum. Because how does a smaller partner compete with somebody that's openly getting 20% less or whatever? Now, individual cases, if it's like a deal that you need to win, sure. But I just think it's, and you're just honest, like, this is our price, and that used to be a frustration. Where can I find the price? And you usually wouldn't get it until it was like last minute, sign now, or you don't get that pricing. Here, it's like, I'll say, you know what I mean? If I don't know all the pricing, I'm not, 15 products, but I can get you the pricing,
No, but it's nice to know that, listen, when I go to my portal, boom, there they are. I don't have to call somebody. I don't have this, check with your account rep sort of thing. It's there. I order it. I move on.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, so I've had some weird conversations with some people that I met here and stuff. It's funny. Some people just found out I've been an enable partner since not the beginning, but 2013 or 14 or whatever, when they purchased GFI.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've met some other partners here. And the question always seems to be right now is, give me one thing that can fix my business this quarter,
mm-hmm.
which in my mind is a poor place to start.
Yeah.
But apparently, for some reason, that's like the new questions. Have you gotten that question?
Somewhat. I mean, in different wording, but yeah, I think so. I think, I haven't seen the numbers, but from most conversations I've had with partners, 2025 was a relatively flat year. I don't know if you've gotten that where we were on this hockey stick growth. I've heard a lot of like, all right, this last year was a year I'm going to reorganize. And maybe that was, it wasn't necessarily the opportunities weren't there, but it was like, I got to restructure because I get this new wave of where do I fit in AI and that type of stuff. So yeah, a lot of those conversations are about that.
So I'll be honest, 2025 was a down year for us, but we had other obstacles. I had two companies acquired by larger companies. And then my largest customer, they had one of their managing partners retire, which took a third of their firm. So, I mean, we're talking, 70 seats just walked out the door. And so for a lot of MSPs, that's a big deal. So we lost over 100 seats last year. I mean, we're fine. We're not, I mean, I'm not, don't worry about Uncle Marv.
I'm like, you're still here. You still got time to do this. So.
But yeah, it was one of those weird years. And I've also been a person, I don't always look to, fix my stack by, hey, what's out there? What's cheaper? What's all of that stuff, which I think a lot of people finally stopped doing last year. And it was more about how can we become more efficient? So I think it was something where people are like, oh, okay, 2025 is down. Now, how do we ramp it back up in 26? You guys normally have your AppRiver partner meetings and stuff. I know that there's usually one at the end of the year, and then you guys do one or two like spring, summer and stuff. Do you have any of those scheduled? And are those geared towards, how to get back on track?
That's exactly it. And we actually have 6 this year.
6?
We have one in May in New York City at the Microsoft office there. We have one in Atlanta in June, which is at the Microsoft office there. We're doing one out in Redmond in the summer.
Okay.
So yes, we're ramping that up. And
when's the Fort Lauderdale one coming back around?
We got it. We were in Fort Lauderdale, but it was a roadshow. It wasn't the Microsoft AppRiver thing. So it was more of a kind of all products, but we will be in South Florida at some point. We're going to, it's been good. And, we're continuing to grow that. We're bringing in some other consultants. We're bringing in Microsoft people. The last one we did was out in Beverly Hills after TMT's gala. And we did a Microsoft Copilot studio workshop where it was fingers on keyboards, creating apps, like, to solve problems. So that's the type of thing that we're trying to offer. And then also like, all right, let's spend a session on go-to-market strategy for this, All
right. I'm going to do a major shift in gears. Here. I heard that there was a Family Feud moment.
There was. So it was 2012. I was on the Family Feud. And I was the guy doing the last bit of answers, and we hit 200 right on the dot. And so we won the 20,000. And it was funny. Like I told some people, and I told Tanya like a year ago about it from TMT. And then when I did my 1 minute pitch, their theme at TMT was this, game show thing. So I didn't know. They found a whole minute clip on YouTube and they played it before I went up and did my 1 minute pitch. And there was so many people that thought it was a deep fake. So many MSPs were like, man, that looked real. I'm like, no, that was me before my gray hairs,
I was going to say, I mean, I've known you a while, not like we're buddies or whatever, but I'm like, how am I just now hearing about this?
Yeah. It was wild. My wife and all of her cousins won an audition. It was a casino up in Connecticut. So 1,000 people or whatever. And unbeknownst to us, like they also signed up all the husbands. So we were the DePalma family. I wasn't related to any of them. They were all my wife's cousins' husbands, right?
Okay.
So we didn't know we were going to be on it. So, we had a couple cocktails. We were gambling. Finally, we go up there and you have to face another family one round. If you win, they bring you back into the green room and they interview you to see your personality. So we had a state cop on there, another guy in construction, 2 guys in construction. So we were fun. But we were like, my wife, they're going to be on it, right? Sure enough, 2 weeks later, we get the call, get flown down to Atlanta. Steve Harvey, that was Steve Harvey's time. He was the nicest guy ever. And it was a surreal experience. And they still play it. I'll still get texts because they'll still play it on the Game Show Network.
I'm going to have to go look for it. But of course, the all-important question is, which position were you out of the 5?
I was the first one.
You were the first. You had to introduce everybody.
I was the captain of the team, yeah.
I got to go find that clip.
If you just type in DePalma Family Feud on YouTube, it's got a ton of, like 100,000 views
now.
No, but because we landed on 200, it was like a unique thing. Not a lot of people land, to win we didn't go over, and we needed 44 points on the last question, and we got it.
Were you sweating?
I was sweating because I got a 0 on one of them, and I was the last guy. But the first 3 answers, you got the because I answered the same one as the guy that went before me. So I was rushing, and that 4th question, I knew right after I said my answer, I'm like, man, that was a stupid answer. But the final question, and I'll see if you can get it. What's the average length of a hot dog?
Ooh, the average length of a hot dog?
Surveyed 100 people. What is the average length of a hot dog? I got the number one.
For some reason, I'm thinking 5 inches.
6 inches. 6 inches. Number one answer. Yeah. And we got 44 points and hit it. I was like, I just ruined our chances with the 0, and then we hit it. So, and then Steve Harvey was like, I had the list of, he knew what the number one answers were, but he goes, I didn't know how many points. So he was as excited as us. And he's hugging me. It was cool.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to find that clip and we'll play it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. What did they play it?
They played it. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know they were doing it.
Okay. But you said they found a minute clip. Yeah. So they didn't do the whole thing.
They didn't do the whole thing, okay. But there is there's a full clip of me answering all 5 of those questions, and it's about a minute total.
Nice.
So yeah.
All right. Let me ask you this question, and I want to end it on this. And you talked about this being a great event, and somebody cataloged over 700 events this year in the channel, which I thought when we hit 500, I thought that was too much.
Yeah.
You said this was great, and you've been to a bunch. What do you think has been great about events, and what do you think we need to just stop?
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is you can go to an event every single week somewhere, right?
Every single day.
You can go to one every day, believe me, because they're all on my calendar. I got to pick and choose which one I go to. I think the best events, and even as a vendor, is when it's all about education. And I know it sounds fluffy, but I would much rather, I'm doing a presentation very soon, and it's about the power of relationships. And obviously I'm going to weave in so people know what OpenText does. I would much prefer to do that than go up and do 20 minutes about speeds and feeds and that type of stuff. And we're seeing like the request from some of the new events, like that's what they want. That's what Enable wanted. Enable was like, we got plenty of booth time to talk about our products, right? But I want something that people could take away that you could actually do. So we came up with this power of the relationships. Basically AI can never replace relationships. That's a commodity that is unique to the channel, right? So I love that. And I love the people that want to come to actually learn, right? Like, and we're seeing more of it. I get asked all the time, when are we going to do an OpenText event? I said, the world does not need another event, especially run by a vendor, right? So, and I'm not organizing it, so that's too much work for me.
We don't need another big one, but I do like the Roadshows. Yeah. I do like the partner events. Again, they don't have to be big to be impactful.
No.
You want to be able to have that conversation. I mean, the Roadshows are what, one day?
Oh yeah, it was one day.
So
yeah, we'll do something at night, but yeah, and it's a local roadshow, but we do get people flying in.
Yeah.
And we'll pay for flights if it's something, especially for the peer group, the Microsoft peer group. So we'll choose locations, but yeah, I would much prefer to do something 50 people, and we invite prospects, but mostly it's our partners. Right. They're educational, like how to strengthen a relationship. We do it that way. And if you do get prospects there, they're looking at it like, oh, these guys are providing value. They're not just selling sponsorships. If we bring another vendor, we don't charge them. It's just if something fits.
What?
No, we don't have it.
Get out.
Yeah, I know. They probably don't know that. Finance probably doesn't know that. But no, like we've brought in partners just to do and tell them like, you're not here to sell your stuff, but like, if you've got something to add to this, and they can come for free.
Sweet. All right. Well, as you mentioned, you've got a presentation coming up, so I want to give you enough time to go and prep for that, get up to the room and everything. So thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for having me on after, holding you hostage for that.
Well, we got to do this more often. So, yeah. So, yeah, let's get out before the noise. They've got the
Zambonis.
Yeah. So Mike DePalma, Vice President Business Development at OpenText's. And that's going to do it here from the Empower 2026 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We'll see you all soon. Holla.